guys, it is a miserable day today here on the Isle of Man. It's really stormy and wet and windy and not really the kind of day for outdoor gardening, at least not comfortable outdoor gardening. My hair is still soaking wet from going to the post office just a bit ago, but I did manage to come home and do a little indoor gardening project, and I want to share it with you. So, I think probably it took me about 20 minutes to make this succulent terrarium. It's not a real terrarium because terrariums are closed. This has an opening. I have another video that's about 4 years old, actually has a lot of views on how to make these in smaller containers like this. And I actually hold workshops here on the Isle of Man with my friend Ashley that you'll see in that video. And we have one coming up here on the 3rd of November if you are interested in joining. But check out the video. You can use it to make your own terrariums like this. Now with this one, I have a little bit of a twist. So I love sea glass. I love foraging for it on the beaches and finding it. It's like Easter egg hunting in a way. And so I've put sea glass down at the very bottom here and then have created all the other layers on top. And then I have planted the top up with succulents that I already had growing here at the house. So I didn't have to go out and buy anything. And this is quick and easy, it's really pretty, and it's a great way of enjoying succulents indoors during the winter, but they're great all the year round as well. I'm beginning with a glass jar. It's a Kilner jar, quart size. Mason jar will do as well, same thing pretty much. And then I also have this assortment of sea glass. I love sea glass. It's one of my hobbies, finding it on the beaches here. There's some pottery in here as well, some different colors. So what I'm going to do, so the effect that I'd like to have is just one color, one layer of sea glass, and then another color, and then I'll put the other materials on top. What the heck, let's put some of this green glass in as well. I'm just using the end of the skewer to flatten the pieces of glass down just to make sure that there's a nice level surface for the next layer. So next what I'm going to put into the jar is a layer of this white gravel. Now the glass and the gravel act as drainage, as will the next layer. Next, this is beach sand that has been cooked in the oven, so it's sterilized of all of the bits that might be living in it. And we're just going to put it on top of the white gravel. The next layer is activated charcoal, and you put this down just to make sure that the soil that we put on next, the potting compost, isn't contaminated by anything that might still be lingering in the sand. It also helps to stop the sand from turning green. So all the layers that will be underneath the compost are in. So I'm going to just set this aside and move on to the next step. This is cactus or cacti compost, and it's very, very well drained. There's a little succulent in there, I'll set it aside. It's made up of a lot of cocoa husks in there, and there's also some perlite, and it's meant to be really free draining, but it still needs to be a little bit moist for these succulents. So I'm just going to pop this in here and give it a little bit of a spritz with water. Succulents won't need very much watering after you plant them, and all of those layers underneath are to make sure that the compost stays really well drained and that those succulents don't suffer for, you know, wet feet. So I've given it just enough water that I can feel that there's a slight bit of moisture in there, but it's not wet, it's not sopping wet. And that's going to be ideal for the succulents to take root. The next step is putting the compost in the jar. So just use a spoon. Spoon it in there. They won't need very much, maybe about 1 inch to grow in. So now the fun part. So I'm just gonna move this here to one side. These are the succulents I'll be using, and they're a mixture of indoor and outdoor succulents. You can plant them together, and I've picked them a couple of days ago so that the ends have dried and have formed calluses. This is a jade plant, and these can get really big, but in these smaller plantings, you can just trim them with little scissors and they'll stay relatively small. Or, you know, if they get big and bushy, you just snip them off and you've got even more cuttings to make more planters like this, or to grow on as a full-size plant even. I also have some sempervivums and some other bits and bobs that I've taken from some of my outdoor planters. Now the last thing I'm going to do is just decorate any areas of bare compost with some of my sea glass. When it comes to watering your succulent terrarium, then you actually would want to water the glass rather than the plants. And that will help to keep the leaves nice and dry so that they are in kind of the environment that they grow best in, which is a bit more arid. And you know what? I think some of these little white pieces of gravel would look nice too. Now, as for watering, if you get a little squirt bottle like this is going to be the best. And if it has a really strong stream rather than a spray, it'll be even better. This one has a spray, but it's all right. And in the case of it having a spray, just spray the inside of the glass rather than the plants themselves. If you have a directional spray, you can spray those pebbles and the sea glass. And there we have it. Now, as far as aftercare, you want to let this root for 6 weeks without very much disturbance. So put it in a window that's east facing or west facing, so not really strong sunlight, but enough to keep it growing. And it won't really like super warm temperatures, just room temperature or slightly cooler is probably going to be best for it, because remember that this glass is going to act as a mini greenhouse, even though it's open at the top. Easy peasy, isn't that? It really is that simple. And it will take about 6 weeks for these guys to really root themselves into the compost. And you'll know when they rooted themselves, this is about 6 weeks old, because some of those green succulents will start growing up and against the sides of the glass. If they get a little bit too long, you can just snip the ends off, let those ends callus over again, and then you can create even more little succulent planters. I really am pleased with this. It's so pretty. And this would actually make a great gift as well. So if you're thinking about Christmas gifts, like DIY handmade gifts, if you make these now, even smaller ones as well, they'll be ready in time to give on December 25th or any day around then. Hope you enjoyed this video. My next video will be out on Sunday, so my standard time. And what we're going to be doing then is looking at the allotment garden. I spent some time working in it this week. It was beautiful then, but as I said, it has been stormy, so I'm a little bit concerned that the cosmos and the other pretty flowers have all been knocked down by the wind, but we will see for sure on Sunday. So that'll be 6 o'clock UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. I'll see you on Sunday, and thanks so much for watching this video.